Ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk about the effect of accounts receivable turnover and inventory turnover against profitability at PT Kimia Farma Persero Tbk period 2011 until 2020. My name Dedi Kusnadi from Pamulang University, majoring Magister Management. The COVID-19 pandemic has had a huge impact on the economic, social, and cultural sectors, and Indonesia has also been affected. The first impact is the weakening of household consumption or the weakening of people's purchasing power. The second impact is the uncertainty of when the coronavirus will end, which has resulted in the investment sector weakening, resulting in the cessation of business. The third impact of the weakening economy causes commodity prices to decline, so the government takes quick action such as vaccination programs and the National Economic Recovery Program, which can also be called BLT, Direct Cash Assistance. SMEs, Small and Medium Enterprises. MSMEs, Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises. Fikri 2021. In relation to how the company can survive in maintaining its existence, the researcher tries to examine the company PT Kimia Farma Persero Tbk, which is a state-owned company in the health sector with phenomenon of using financial ratios, namely accounts receivable turnover and inventory turnover to profitability with the following phenomena. Look at the table 1, the phenomenon of PT Kimia Farma Persero Tbk. The problem is caused by a large number of requests, so PT Kimia Farma Persero Tbk requires funds for production and operational costs, while there are many receivables that cannot be collected, including BPJS health service, government hospitals, and TNI Polri hospitals from 2019 to 2020. So most suppliers implement policies of advance payment or COD, cash on delivery, which suppresses the cash flow of PT Kimia Farma Persero Tbk from these problems. We want to conduct research with the title Influence of Receivables Turnover and Inventory Turnover on Profitability in PT Kimia Farma Persero Tbk period 2011 until 2020. Literature review. Receivable turnover. This can be checked with the turnover to check the smoothness of account receivable and to measure whether the investment in receivable is good when receiving receivable. These receivables are part of working capital and continue to rotate in the working capital turnover chain. According to Kashmir, 2010, states that receivables turnover is a ratio used to measure how long it takes to collect receivable in one period or how many times the funds invested in this receivable rotate in one period. As the formula formulated by Bambang Rianto 2010, that the level of receivable turnover can be known by the formula for the number of credit sales during a certain period divided by the average number of receipts in that period. The formula is receivable turnover equal net credit sales per average accounts receivable. And average accounts receivable formula is starting receivable plus ending receivable per 2. is equal average account receivable. Inventory turnover. Inventory is the main commodity of a trading company. Inventory is included in the current assets of the business, which plays an important role in the profitability of the business. In general, that inventory is used for the preparation of commodities that are sold. In a trading company, inventory is goods purchased for resale without changing the goods themselves. According to V. Wiratna Sujarweni, 2017, inventory is the company's ability to invest in the circulation of its funds within a certain period or liquidity in the form of inventory. The inventory turnover ratio formula equal cost of goods sold per average inventory. And average inventory formula equal beginning inventory plus ending inventory per 2. The profitability. According to Harry 2016, the rate of return is a ratio to assess the company's ability to generate profits from normal operation. In addition to knowing the ability of a company to regenerate profits over a certain period of time, this indicator also aims to measure that the effectiveness of management in carrying out business activities. The profitability ratio is a ratio that represents all available skills and resources, namely the company's abilities to generate profits from the skills and resources obtained from sales activities, resource utilization, production, and capital expenditures. Return on total assets or ROA is one indicator of profitability, and this ratio is a comparison between net income and total assets. These key figures show assets sales in terms of sales volume. The higher this ratio, the better. This means that assets can be delivered faster and make a profit. It can be formulated for the calculation of ROA as follows. Return on assets or ROA formula equal net income per average total assets. Framework for thinking framework. According to figure 1, the framework for the hypothesis temporary conjecture is hypothesis 1, a likely accounts receivable turnover has an effect on profitability at the company PT Kimia Farma period 2011 until 2020. Hypothesis 2, a likely inventory turnover has an effect on profitability at the company PT Kimia Farma period 2011 until 2020. Hypothesis 3, a likely account receivable turnover and inventory turnover affect the profitability of the company PT Kimia Farma period 2011 until 2020. Research methodology. The population and sample in this quantitative research are inseparable and interrelated. In simple terms, the sample is part of the population studied and is representative of the member of the population because the result can be generalized into conclusion. In this survey, the population analyzed is the financial statement of the company as a whole, PT Kimia Farma Persero Tbk, by taking a sample of the annual accounting of the company PT Kimia Farma Persero Tbk for 10 periods from 2011 until 2020. This sampling method is a targeted sampling method. The type of data to examine the problem in this study is quantitative data, including numerical data with units of account that can be calculated mathematically. The information used is secondary data. This means that data is collected in a commercial format and and processed by other parties. The data for this survey is taken from the index exchange that PT Kimia Farma Persero Tbk for 10 periods from 2011 until 2020, which used the official websites of BUMN, state-owned enterprises. Data is also obtained from another information, among others from journal, textbooks, and the internet, which are in accordance with several types of data that collected on this research. The data collection method used is the documentation. The data used in this research technique are statistical analysis, descriptive analysis, classical assumption test, hypothesis testing, simple linear regression test, multiple linear regression test, correlation coefficient test, and coefficient of determination test. Look at the table 2, results and discussion. Descriptive statistic test results. According to table 2 above, the result of the predictive statistical tests are shown in the accounts receivable turnover variable with an average value of 56133.3333 and a standard deviation of 6298.52201, while the inventory turnover variable with an average value of 425490994.2222 and a standard deviation of 194869478.45074. The company's profitability variable has an average value of 5258627035.33 and a standard deviation of 3980220875.453. The result of assumption classic test is a normality test. From figure 2 of the normal probability plot, it can be seen that in the normal plot, the pattern of dots spreads around the diagonal and follow the direction of the diagonal. It can be said that the distribution of the regression model data is normal. Look at the table 3, multicollinearity test. In a table 3, the result of the multicollinearity test show that the tolerance is close to 1 and the VIF value for each variable is around 1 until 10. The result of the calculation of the margin of error shows that there is no independent variable with a margin of error below 0.10. This means that there is no relationships between the independent variables whose value exceeds 95%. VIF results are the same as no dependent variable with a VIF value greater than 10. It can be concluded that all independent variables in the regression equation model do not have multicollinearity problem, so they can be used in this study. Based on the result of heteroscedasticity test in figure 3, it shows that the points in the scatter plot are properly distributed. That is, they form a curtain pattern and are placed above and below zero on the y-axis, and no particular pattern is seen. Therefore, the multiple regression equation in this model is symptom-free or not uniformly distributed. There is no heteroscedasticity. Based on the table 4 above, it can be seen that the test statistic dw equal 2.103, dl equal 0.69715, du equal 1.64134, for dl equal 3.30285, for du equal 2.35866. dw value lies between du and for du decisions. The result of the above calculation that the dw value of 2.103 lies between the values du and for du of 1.64134 and 2.35866. du is smaller than dw, it's smaller than for du, can be said to be 1.64134 is smaller than 2.103 is smaller than 2.35866. So conclude that there is no autocorrelation. Table 5 data above is formulated a regression equation that is used to determine the effect of the relationship between receivable turnover and inventory turnover on profitability as follows: y equal a plus b1 x1 plus b2 x2 equal minus 14.34055 1145 plus 338572.605 x1 plus 0.140 x2. From the coefficient of the constant above, the value of 44,055,115.101 is obtained. The value of this constant indicates that if the independent variables remains constant, the dependent variable is affected by minus 14340551145.101 units. Coefficient regression for variable accounts receivable turnover x1 of 338572.65, which shows that if the accounts receivable turnover or RTO increases by 1 unit, it means variable profitability or ROA then suffers the increase 338572 the 72.65 units. Coefficient regression variable inventory turnover or x2 of 0.140 indicates that if variable inventory turnover increase one by one, then the variable of profitability will be pure. The increase is 0.140. The units with the rules that the other variable is constant. According to table 6, the PSS calculation results from the receivable turnover variable or RTO x1 with a t mean count value of 1.166 greater than t mean table 2.44691. Then when compared with the t mean value distribution table T with equal 0.05, where T count 1.166 is smaller than T table 2.44691. Then HO it's H0 it's rejected and HA is accepted with a significant amount of 0.288 is bigger than 0.05. Then H0 is rejected and HA is accepted. So that it can be concluded that partially there is a positive relationship and no significant effect between receivable turnover or RTO on profitability or ROA. Meanwhile, of the inventory turnover variable ITR x2 with a T count value of 0.149, which is smaller than a T table of 2.44691. Then when compared with the T value of the T distribution table with equal 0.05, where T count 0.149 is smaller T table 2.44691. Then H0 is rejected and HA is accepted with a significant value of 0.887 is bigger than 0.05. Then H0 is accepted and HA is rejected, so that it can be concluded that partially there is a positive relationship and no significant effect between inventory turnover and RTO to profitability or ROA. From the ANOVA test analysis of variance in table 7 above, that the value of F counts bigger than F table or 1.563 bigger than 5.14 with a significant level of 0.284 bigger than 0.05. It is said that account receivable turnover or RTO and inventory turnover or ITR together equally positive and not significant effect on profitability or ROA. The test results of the coefficient of determination in table 8 can be seen that the dependent variable can be explained by the independent variable of 34.3%. In other words, 34.3% of profitability can be influenced by account receivable turnover and inventory turnover with an R-squared value of 0.343, while 65.7% is explained by other factor not examined in this study. The conclusion and suggestion. The result of the research of the receivable turnover variable have a positive and insignificant relationship to profitability. This can be seen from the receivable turnover regression coefficient of 1.116 and a significance value of 0.288. This means that if there is an increase of 1 unit of a receivable turnover, it will affect the profitability of 1.116 unit. The results showed that the company's turnover variable had a thin positive linear relationship with profitability. This can be seen from the regression coefficient of the company's inventory turnover of 0.149 and significant at 0.887. This makes sense as inventory increases. One unit turnover rate of 0.149 units, which is associated with increased profitability. And in terms of result, the independent variable RTO and ITR together have no significant effects on the dependent variable or ROA at the same time. And the remaining 65.7%, it has an effect of 34.3% influenced by other factors not investigated. This research proves that PT Kimia Farma Persero Tbk, if there is an increase or decrease in accounts receivable turnover and inventory turnover, it has no direct effects on profits or profitability. The results of this study will provide insight to the effect of accounts receivable turnover and inventory turnover on profitability. However, this study has some limitation. This limitation will provide insights and opportunities for future authors to do better research. The sample used in the study is only related to one index, namely the issuer. So it is not possible for issuer to fully determine the scope and all results. For this reason, future authors will include more index in their surveys and link them to each other. The population used for the survey sample may use several types of entities or other indices. In using the research model is to determine the profitability may not be accurate, and because the model is quite complex, prone to data processing errors, this allows future research to use other methods that are good and simple, more accurate so as to provide the relevant information. The ratio used in the study only counts two independent variables in assessing variance that can affect profitability. For this reason, future researchers can add ratios related to profitability in other research to be more accurate. So that's all for me, and thank you.